Kookoo Kookaburra by Gregg Dreise. Way back before once upon a time, there was the dream time. And during this period there lived a kookaburra called Kookoo. Kookoo was a kind and happy fellow who loved to tell stories. He would sit in his favourite gum tree and wait for one of the animals to do something silly. When they did, Kookoo would laugh and think of a good story to tell about what they had done. The bush creatures loved to gather for a song or a dance, but they enjoyed listening to Kookoo's stories the most. He had a special way of turning someone's silliness into a funny story without being unkind. Sometimes Kookoo searched for food to eat, but most of the time he was just on the lookout for his next story. One day, Kookoo could not find any of the bush creatures doing something silly, so he decided to make fun of their differences instead. Sadly, the kookaburra's teasing made the hearts of his friends sink lower than the belly of Mr. Nguri, the black snake. Before long, there were many sad creatures. Billy, the red-winged parrot, reminded Kookoo that everyone liked him because he could tell a funny story in a kind way. His elder, Uncle Goo Goo Gaga, told him that kindness is like a boomerang. If you throw it often, it comes back often. But Kookoo did not listen. He thought his stories were just as funny when he teased his friends. In his quest for laughter, Kookoo hurt the feelings of the bush animals, and they stopped listening to him. The creatures who had once gathered like twinkling stars now looked as if the clouds had dragged their sorrows over the sky. Kookoo's stories were no longer funny, but he still believed that he was the best storyteller in the bush. Uncle Goo Goo Gaga had decided to teach him the wise words that had been taught to him when he was young. You have 2 eyes, you have 2 ears, you only have 1 mouth. Look and listen twice as much as you speak. When Kookoo flew off without taking the time to think about what he had been taught, Uncle Goo Goo Gaga and Billy were sad. Kookoo had become a show-off and had forgotten the difference between laughing with people and laughing at people. His friends hoped that one day his kindness would return like a boomerang. Kookoo flew from tree to tree trying to gather an audience, but everyone ignored him and he became very lonely. One day he listened to his own laughter echoing around the bush, and it was not a happy sound. Kookoo stopped laughing, and then he heard the voice of Goo Goo Gaga. His uncle's wise words were floating in the breeze, and they were much louder than his own unhappy laughter had been. Everywhere Kookoo flew, he could now hear the voice of Uncle Goo Goo Gaga saying, "Kindness is like a boomerang. If you throw it often, it comes back often." At last, Kookoo knew what he had to do. From that day on, his laughter and funny stories once again filled the bush. And because Kookoo was always kind, the other creatures returned his kindness by listening. Kookoo's laughter is still heard today. Be kind to everyone. Sit down comfortably. Put both your hands palm upwards on your lap. try to pay attention to yourself. Now, put your right hand on your tummy and say within yourself, I am peaceful. I am content. Put your hand on your heart and say within yourself, my heart is full of joy and love. Put your hand on your throat and say within yourself, I am kind. I speak sweetly. Now put your hand on your forehead and say within yourself, I forgive. Put your hand on the top of your head and say within yourself, I am one with the whole world. Everyone is my brother or sister. Now put your hands back on your lap, palm upwards. Close your eyes and try to keep your attention on the top of your head. If you have any thoughts coming, just say, I forgive. You can open your eyes and try to be kind to everyone throughout the day.